Picture this. You've spent an hour on your makeup, lighting's set, your room is clean, and your talking points are solid. You're ready to create. And then you get a text. Your guest cancels last minute. Now what?
On cam ready in three, two, one.
This is On Cam Ready. I'm Jamie Maglietta. On this episode of Think Like a Producer, that sinking feeling of, all that prep you did was for nothing. But I'm here to tell you it wasn't, as long as you think like a producer and you have a backup plan in place. It's never going to be a wasted day if you're planning ahead. And as a television news producer, no matter what show or hour we're producing, we always have backup plans and backup plans to backup plans. So I'm not wearing makeup right now, but most days when I am popping on, I am wearing makeup. And I don't enjoy wearing makeup, nor do I like having to wear my contacts. So if I'm going to put all that work in and then my guest cancels, which has happened now at least a handful of times since August of 2025, I have to have a plan in place. I am not going to sit there with my makeup on and not record something. So I always have social media ideas and YouTube scripts in the can waiting to be recorded. This way, if I find myself with 2 to 3 open hours, I can crank out some videos and get them recorded. That's what happened now. So today I wasn't prepared for an on-camera interview, but I had a long day of interviews. So I was ready to be on camera, even though I didn't have makeup and I was having my glasses on. So I had that energy. That's why I'm showing up. Sometimes it's best to just show up when you feel right, not always look as right as you want to be. Okay? Don't let your appearance stop you, guys, is really my point on that comment. So, whenever you have a guest cancel for your podcast or you get canceled from appearing on a television interview, I want you to have a backup plan in place, ready to go so you can make the most of your time. You can either have a batch recording of social media videos or some YouTube videos, depending on your focus, or maybe even some angles that you want to break out into newsletter clips for Substack or LinkedIn. Don't lose the time that you set aside for media appearances or podcasting for your own show. Okay. And that is what we're going to talk about today on Think Like a Producer. Let's start with the creator mindset. We throw around creator and producer like they mean the same thing, but they really don't. A creator mindset is about the moment, the performance, the art, and that one piece of content. It's personal, it's passionate, and honestly, it's reactive in most cases. A creative is definitely a part of who I am as a producer, but I'm very much more strategic than I am creative. I can put together a story and elements and visuals. But if you throw me in a ring with a bunch of paints and art supplies, I may not know what to do. Or you hand me a camera and say, hey, can you go shoot this beautiful scene and make a wonderful film? Like maybe I could, but I am more about trying to tell your story, my story, the news as creatively as possible versus being a artistic creative. So I just want to make sure that we're not making them interchangeable because they're not. Now, a schedule can get ruined if someone doesn't live up to their agreement. And as a producer, if I were on camera, for an hour and the guest didn't show up, I had to have a place to go, right? If I had a 5-minute hole in my hour, I would dip to black. And we all know what happens when you dip to black. You are in chaos and you're trying to reframe what's happening next, right? So I would always have that first initial plan. What's the first plan if this guest doesn't show up? I would always make sure I have something the exact length ready to go, just in case. I would also have a reporter on standby to come in early if I started to feel like a guest was running late. Some readers, okay? You're always thinking of what could I have in my back pocket just in case. That's chess. That's not checkers, right? As you heard in my other video. It's the 30,000-foot view. A producer doesn't just see today's problem. They're thinking about the next 10 steps. They don't panic, they pivot. And that's how you need to start reshuffling and rethinking your mindset as you become more of a thought leader on social media, YouTube, and across podcasts. See, what separates them is that producers are more consistent than the creatives. I don't want to put creatives down, okay? But these are differences that I see. So when I'm saying I want you to think like a producer, I'm saying I want you to prepare your plan A, build out plan B, C, and potentially D for the time slot that you're making to set aside for either appearing on a podcast or recording your own podcast with a guest. You need to be able to flex, not freeze. That's a secret to having that creative resilience and being consistent. Now, let's talk about the high cost of having no plan. And that's the other part of thinking like a producer. Producers also think about the monetary gain or loss if things don't work out. And you should too. It's survival because when you don't have a backup plan, one small hiccup can take down your entire system. We've all heard the horror stories, a hard drive crash or a corrupted SD card, and I didn't record anything. Like, what are you going to do? So you need to have that backup plan. And that's why I live by this rule, the 3-2-1 backup rule. 3 copies of your data, 2 different types of storage, and 1 copy offsite, always having a variety of versions just in case technical failures occur. I know it sounds obsessive, but that's why I like Riverside. See, I use Riverside because it's a cloud based system, and that really allows me to keep everything stored in this cloud. And I don't have to worry about the recordings much. Most days I don't have to worry at all. I mean, sometimes I've had issues where they won't download or they record funky. But outside of that, no, I really don't have any issues using the cloud based recording system. You should also have some type of flash drive to store your material on. And that's how you stay consistent. You'll want to have backup plans in case there's a technical issue, or a shoot gets canceled, or your B roll isn't recording. And you're like, oh my gosh, I needed to have a phone that's charged and I didn't have that. Like, you want to have backup equipment whenever you're going to go out and shoot. If you are going to be on location, there isn't a producer that goes on location and doesn't have everything already sorted out. So you want to make sure that you have everything in place and you are able to create content even when things don't work out. Okay. There's so many things that I could share on this topic, but instead, I'm going to break it all down into different videos. I hope today's episode helps you start thinking like a producer and remember that you need to have backup plans to backup plans in order to stay on task and be consistent. And if you don't want to be showing up every day, you need to be batch recording. Today may have started with a canceled guest, but it didn't end there, right? Because if you had a plan in place, you may have been able to shoot B-roll, script or record scripts that you've already written, film some short videos or reels, maybe taken some photos to go with your newsletter or your LinkedIn or X post. And you might have even used that time to just show up on camera live in your social media feed. There's so much that you could do if you have it all planned out and ready to go. So when things don't work out, you don't waste. Remember, think like a producer and you will never have to worry about when the plans fall apart because you'll always be able to create new ones. That's how you stay consistent. That's how you stay confident in your creation journey. And that's how you build a brand that lasts. Be sure to follow this podcast on your podcasting platform of choice or visit us on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. There, I also have the Unknown to Known podcast, and I also offer technical tutorials to help you show up consistently and confidently online. I'll see you guys, and be sure to stick around for the next episode of Think Like a Producer or visit Unknown to Known.